PDF from circulation up. I will. I'll have it up in Essay 3 just so you have it there for your reference. But again, you can just work from the abstract, right? Okay, second source, a report from a research group. Reports are usually smaller, shorter than journal articles. They're often as rigorous, but they're just presented in a much faster way. And many times they'll use a graphic way of giving you the data, like charts or pie graphs or whatever. But anyway, a report from a research group. So, I found this article. Well, see, I don't want to call it an article. I mean, what do you call? I found this information, this website. The title caught my eye as I looked through the results hits and all that. 30 million U.S. consumers skip breakfast each day, reports NPD. 31 million U.S. consumers. And the reason I have this here is I want you to get the title. I want you to get the way it opens. Although most U.S. consumers begin their day with breakfast, 1 out of 10, or 31 million, don't, according to a recent market research study conducted by the NPD group. Hey, as you were doing your essays, your surveys, I think we can beat those numbers. And this is one reason why I want a second round of surveys, because I think college students have a higher incidence. Incidence here means rate of skipping breakfast than 1 out of 10. Well, we'll see. Because, see, these are, you'll find out, I think these are males between 18 to 34. Okay. NPD's Morning Mealscape 2011 study, which delves deeply into the situational factors and attitudinal drivers impacting consumers' food and beverage choices in the morning, finds that males, etc. So they're giving us the information right away. But you know what? This is not the report, because the title is different. I know the report would not refer to itself in its title, like Reports NPD. That would not be in the title of the actual report. So what is this thing? It is from NPD. It's just like a quick heads up that they have a report somewhere on their website for you to read if you want it. That's all it is. I copied the actual text of the article here, or the website. I don't even want to call it an article, of the information here. Okay, and they give you a little bit of it. All right, but they don't give you the whole report. However, this is enough of a summary to help us with what we're doing. All right. So what's happening here is, and this is going to be common when you do a review of literature, your job is to summarize these sources, a collection of sources you pick for your reader, to bring your reader up to speed, to also let your reader know that you've done the reading. And you know what you do when you go looking for these sources? You find summaries of them out there. So a large part of this assignment is going to be your ability to put these summaries in your own words. But this would be like your second paragraph. Another study, a report done by NPD, speaks to the frequency of how people eat breakfast, that sort of thing. Okay. Now, I wanted to get the actual report, because again, it's just a good practice to have the real thing there, to check people's summaries and that sort of thing. How do we know that this is getting it right? Right. So it would be good to check it with the original. So what did I do to try to do that? I didn't. Oh, you know what? Okay, you know what? Okay. Here, I actually did a screen capture video where I clicked and I clicked and I clicked because I wanted to show you what was happening. And I'll let you watch that video to see my conclusions in full. But as I tried to find this original source, you know what I ran into eventually? I felt I was getting closer and closer. And then I ran into the paywall. And you should see that little video that details how I tried to get this report. Because you realize, again, this is only a summary of it. It's not the real thing, the whole thing. Well, NPD wants to sell it to you. What is it, NPD or NDP, whatever? This is a marketing group. It's a marketing research group, and they're not going to give their information away for free. They'll tell you, we did this study because we want to help you market your product. And if you're into sports bars, like bars, the nutritional bars, if you're into any sort of packaged food product, anything like that, you need to know this survey because it'll help you advertise, design and advertise your product. Guess what? You want this information? Slap us $50 or something like that. I didn't even get the price, but it was I ran into another paywall. They wanted me to pay $149 for a chapter of a book, one chapter of a book. No, so I obviously didn't pay it. But the trouble with this is that we run into paywalls on the internet. So this is not open access material, because obviously you have to pay at the end to get the real report. However, I bet you could get this from the Bierce Library if you have a working library card, because they pay subscriptions into databases, and the databases ask for fees, but Akron has paid it. You've paid it through your taxes, whatnot. So from an Akron computer, we probably could get the report, as we could that other thing I was looking for. But I just didn't want to go that far. This summary will help us. Again, I ask you to watch the video that I have that shows how I clicked and clicked and clicked to try to find it, and then it becomes clear this is a business selling a product. The product is the report. They made the report. You got to pay to get it. Okay. Yes, sir.
Should we be only searching on the internet, or could we just go like to the Akron Library? Like for papers that I wrote in other classes, I just like search their library for like journal articles and stuff like that.
You do both.
Okay.
You do both. And you know, I'll have a time because again, I was encouraged or instructed, I don't know what the term is, for College Writing 1 is not to be heavily focused on research. I should be focusing more on the rudiments of writing and composition, how to put essays together. So, you know, I'm happy to comply, but where this College Writing 2, I would definitely have us knowing and using the databases because they're powerful tools. And you know, they're using the internet platform, but they're just not open access. So what you are really asking is, should we just be using open access material, which is stuff you find just on Google and that sort of thing? And I say, yeah, use it. But if you want to use journal articles too, go for it. It's not going to be a heavy part in the class, but that's actually the right way to go. And it's not an either or, it's both. Yeah, you find whatever you can to help you, as long as when you look at the actual source, you realize this is a credible source. It's professional sounding. It's using its sources right. It might not be a heavy hitter. It might not be like one of the best journal articles. It's just a blog, but it's doing all the things right. It's disclosing its sources. It's careful with its conclusions. Yeah, it can be very helpful to research.
I find it easier too because it'll cite it in the leg for you.
Yeah, well, many of them do. It depends on the publisher. Well, anyway, so we're going to use this right here, the blue text thing. This is what you'll need to use to summarize your second source, to write that second paragraph over there or whatever, okay? Or third paragraph. We don't have to think of these like specifically as paragraphs. You might want like a quick paragraph of intro to let your reader know you're going to provide a review of literature. The first paragraph will just summarize that circulation journal article about heart attacks and breakfast. The third paragraph then would summarize this. Okay, so let's go on to the next one. Third source, a popular article. By popular, I don't mean, hey, everyone likes it. I mean, hey, this was addressed to a general audience. It's not overly technical. It's not overly demanding. It portends to be true. They're not going to say, hey, here's a bunch of lies for you. I mean, it might have some lies in there. But, you know, you got to kind of trust these things at the beginning until you start finding signs that they're playing with you. So I went back to the Time Health and Family website, and I'm back here with what's the healthiest breakfast. Here's what experts say. You got the name of the website, name of the article, and okay, did I get the name of the author? Oh, I can't believe I missed that. but it'll show up. There it is right there, Alexandra Sifferlin. However, I want you to take a look at this. You see, there's the bottom line right there. Okay, you see that bottom line? You know, I'll just make it smaller. Let's see, is this working now? Oh, it's not working. I can't. I want it to shrink it. Well, I can do it this way. Okay, see that right there? Does that look familiar to you? In other words, it's got a lot of white space around it, so just imagine it covered with ads on the bottom and on the sides. But have you seen this sort of article online where it's like, here's a little something for you, and it's about this big, but if you look at the corner, it says 1 of 8. And you got to click and click and click to see 2 of 8, 3 of 8, 4 of 8, 5 of 8. You can view all at once, but have you seen this sort of format? Okay, this is becoming more and more popular, this sort of format. It allows for more ad placements, okay, and it keeps a lot of the reading material up at the top in a nice like little box. So the thing about this, though, is it does influence the way the information is presented, okay, because it forces the author to stay with a one concept per box method. Watch. Well, actually, you know, I was going to click it, but, well, let's see what the next one is. Oats with milk, 2 of 8. See? What's this one? Sprouted grain toast with almond butter, 3 of 8. Fresh fruit and a glass of milk, 4 of 8. See what I'm saying? So for every box, they have one concept, more or less. And what that can lead into is just a short-changing of a complex issue to try to get everything into that box or that space. I'm telling you, it does sort of affect the content, the way the content is actually, because anytime you put something on, you're leaving something off. And you got to determine what you're going to not include in your writing because of space limitations. And some of you had this trouble with your critiques because you wanted to write, you know, a 4-page summary. And I'm like, well, no, you got to write a 2-paragraph summary. You got to figure out what not to put on, right? So writing is not only a process of actually involving material, and it's also a process of knowing what to ignore as you try to write an essay. So here, this might actually influence what's being put on. Now, the reason I want us to use this, okay, is that it is representative of how people treat this topic. And we're looking at breakfast, but it could be snacks. It could be cheap, fancy dinners. It could be seafood. It could be, I don't know. You'll find a lot of this stuff where it's like, here are 10 screens, 1 of 10, 2 of 10, 3 of 10, and they just give you little chunks at a time. So because I think this is representative, I want us to review this article. So what are we going to actually do when we review this thing? Let me just make by the way, the author is, I can barely read it, so I'm going to jump it up to 100. The author is, here's the title, the author is Alexandra Sifferlin, and she employs a motif here, or a strategy. She will talk to a personality, in this case Oz Garcia, okay, and say, Oz, what's your favorite, what do you do with breakfast? And here's Oz. Well, I never skip breakfast. This is what I do. Here's his meal of choice is an omelet with an organic white. So then the next thing she's going to do is she's going to talk to Christina Rivera. Okay, and what's the next one? Don Jackson Blattner or whatever. So she's just going to different people and saying, hey, what's your favorite breakfast? You know, tell me why. And she has a nice mix. Oz is a celebrity. Christina Rivera is a registered dietitian and president of Nutrition in Motion. Don Jackson Blattner is registered dietitian and author of the Flexitarian Diet. Registered dietitian. Okay. So she's really actually staying with people that you would think are qualified to do this. All right. But let's look at this one. Fruit and veggie smoothie for breakfast. All right. Right off the bat, and I don't think they're gonna tell you this, but I want to know how much sugar is in this. Do you know how much sugar is in a smoothie? But anyway, a celebrity nutritionist for Drew Barrymore and Channing Tatum or whatever, an author of the Beauty Detox Solution, starts off her day the same way as her clients, with a glowing green smoothie. Okay, let's see. The last word she ends up with is beautifying. What do you think the emphasis is here?
Make you look beautiful.
It's stuff to help your skin, stuff to put that glow back in, or I don't know, something like that, right? I think she ends up with an athlete. Let's see. There's one here that's focused on athletes. I don't know if this is it here, but so it seems like she's kind of taking a personality approach. Hey, what are the personalities of my readers? Might have some that are interested in beauty. Might have some that are interested in energy. Might have some that are interested in clear-minded thinking and reflexes. Might have some that are interested in muscle strength, muscle development. I don't know, that sort of. So she's kind of picking and choosing this sort of thing and just giving you, hey, here's a good breakfast for you, okay? So how are we going to represent this? Isn't it sort of like a really quick recipe book for personality types? But it's a little strange because it's like it's depending on you as a reader to want to follow what someone else is doing, right? Hey, this is what Kim Snyder is doing. This is what this other person is doing. This is what Channing Tatum and Drew Barrymore are doing. So it's not really that emphatic this way, but there is a sort of idea of positive peer pressure here and something like that. But let me ask you something, all right? So I do want you to evaluate this, but what's one thing you might be able to tell right away when you look through this? Fresh fruits and a glass of milk. Okay, so this one always eats fresh fruit, followed by a glass of low-fat or fat-free milk. Later in the morning, he eats protein, usually Greek yogurt. Okay. Now he does have a hard-boiled egg. That's easy enough. But do you know how? Look at the fruits that they're showing you there. Okay, so they get a nice spread of color. Do you know how expensive those things are? When's the last time you tried to buy a box of blackberries? I know they're like a small little box, right? Maybe 10 blackberries in there, and it's like $3 or something. And if it's a bigger one, it's like $6 or something. Walnuts are packed full of great stuff for you. You know how much they are? They're really expensive. They're really expensive, you know. A 1 pound bag of them is like $7. So what can you automatically, can you see what I'm thinking when I'm saying, how does this relate to college students? Right, because that's what we're going to write about. College students and breakfast. What might be one thing that I'll say, yes, but, for all of this? Yeah, how many college students can run out and just buy, a whole nice array of fresh fruit from the local market, local farmer's market, and then get their Greek yogurt. Greek yogurt is like the decent middle of the line brand is like $1 a thing, a small little container. Most of us are like, I can't even buy a new pair of shoelaces, and you want me to go and get this Greek yogurt thing? So, is this? Am I being fair here? Like, what's this other one? Sprouted grain toast with almond butter. Okay, so we're not talking about like margarine spread. We're talking about real butter. Not real butter, but like quality stuff here made from almonds, like soy milk. Have you priced soy milk? That's expensive, And so I don't know how much almond butter is, but I bet it's not, $1 a box. Sprouted grain toast. By the way, where do we go to find this? Your local Circle K, Acme. Hey, where's your sprouted grain toast and almond butter? Come on, you don't have almond butter in here? What are you? It's like, are you going to have to go to Trader Joe's for this or something? So how practical is this and doable is it for a college student? That's automatically what I'm thinking. We need to summarize it because this is representative of stuff you're going to find on the web like this. Suggestions for healthy eating. Let's mix it up. Let's make it exciting. Let's make you feel like a professional. Let's get you to spend money on it, because if you spend money on it, you value it. If you value it, it means more to you. Okay? But do we have to go that channel? Nevertheless, I want you to go ahead and summarize this. Now, when you summarize it for your review of Lit, this is going to be your third source. Are you going to go and give me the recipes for each one? No, you need to talk about some of the general characteristics. The recipes are usually, involving hard to find, expensive food. Not all of them. One had oatmeal, although if you look at the type of oatmeal, it's like this. It's not just your quick 1 minute oat thing. It's just so and it might be more challenging to do if you don't have a kitchen with a well-stocked fridge. That's the sort of thing that we can talk about with this article. Try to characterize the average recipe this person is giving you, and how she references somebody you apparently should know that's doing this, and how it's geared toward personality type. And that's what I don't expect to have like a summary of the sprouted grain toast with almond butter thing, and then a summary of the fourth one. Hey, to make fresh fruit and milk, get raspberries and all that. No. But it would be nice to have a couple of these described so that we get a taste, a feel of the type of things this person is advocating. All right, let me take a break here.